I'm Saturday hauling for you guys today, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with some skincare repurchases, and these are both from Eminence. You guys have probably seen me mention these a couple times in both empties and other repurchases, but I really love these two products from Eminence. It's an organic skincare range. So I got another one of these strawberry rhubarb dermafoliants with lactic acid. So there's 4.2 ounces of product, and it comes in this kind of tin style bottle, and this is a dry powder product that you can use it by itself and add a little bit of water and then massage it over your face for an exfoliation. Or what I like to do is every single morning, this is like my morning cleanse, I take the Mangosteen Daily Resurfacing Cleanser, which is the other product that I repurchased, and I got their little holiday set because it was still available, and there's a mini of the dermafoliant in this one. So it's the Cleanse and Glow Daily Cleanse and Exfoliation Kit. So I take a little bit of that Mangosteen cleanser and I mix it in with the dermafoliant, so I also get a cleanse as well as a bit of exfoliation. And that's what I use every single morning to cleanse and exfoliate my face. I mix those two products together. You can really kind of intensify the effects of the dermafoliant by how much water you put in it, or like without using a cleanser, which has a little bit more of a slip to it, you can use it by itself and don't add too much water and more kind of powder product, and you can get even more exfoliation if you're looking for a more intense version. The Mangosteen Daily Resurfacing Cleanser is a 4.2 ounce bottle that's in this kit, and then the mini rhubarb is a 1 ounce little guy that's inside this kit. I recently used the Good Molecules Rose Water Cleanser, I think cleansing gel. I love that stuff. I recently mixed that in with this product and I really like that as well. So I may just start doing that after I use up the Mangosteen cleansers, because the price between the two is quite substantial, although I really do love the Mangosteen cleanser too. So just really good products right there from Eminence. And then I picked up a few things from Target. I thought I would mention that this is the soap that I use to clean my brushes. I have just a little tiny bit left, so I purchased another one. This is from Shea Moisture, and it's the African Black Soap with Shea Butter. This is what it looks like right here, and there are little kind of bits inside of here, but this is the product that I've used to wash my makeup brushes, both natural and synthetic, for years. It does a really good job of deep cleaning my brushes, and then for my natural bristle brushes, it has the shea butter in there, so not only does it deep clean them, but it also has a little bit of a conditioning agent because of that shea butter, and I just really like foam them up and get them nice and washed out. And when I'm done cleaning my brushes, there's no residual color or anything in the bristles, both synthetic or natural. Sometimes I see people saying their brushes are stained, and I found that, because I used to kind of think that way back, but when I really went to deep cleaning brushes, they're not stained, they're just not fully deep cleaned, because you can really get that color out unless it's like an intense dye or something, which we don't find too often in makeup. Otherwise, I never get staining in brushes, even with eye brushes with really intense pigments. So that's just something to make note of. But this is an 8 ounce bar of soap here, and it was like $6. So it lasts me a good probably couple hundred brushes of washing. I like bulk up brushes until I have like, this is ridiculous, until I have like 100 brushes to wash and then I wash them. So that's a really good product from Shea Moisture. It's the African Black Soap with Shea Butter right there. I love this stuff. I also purchased a couple items from e.l.f. I had heard some good things about this Lash It Loud Volumizing Mascara, and I got the shade Black. It's like one of their newest mascaras. This is what the packaging looks like. This was $6, so super affordable, as e.l.f. usually is. They're kind of getting up there more in price, I've noticed, though. They've got some more spendy items. But anyway, this is the Lash It Loud Volumizing Mascara. Again, I got black. This is what the packaging looks like. And I had really high hopes for this mascara. But the wand on this guy, and I love a brush like this. I love these plastic bristled out brushes, but the bristles on this brush are sharp and they're kind of firm. And the first thing that I did was poke my eye, and it hurt. And I have really good, like, I guess, experience with using these type of brushes, but this particular one, it was very easy for me to poke my eye out. So after I was able to like sop up the water that was flowing out of there from poking my eye, I put on I think 3 coats of it, and it did separate nicely and stuff, but I didn't get a ton of length and I didn't get a ton of volume. So I wasn't crazy about the formula. Maybe if it dries out a little bit more, it'll build easier. But this brush, man, it's a pretty decent size. But those little pokey guys are sharp. Like I said, they're sharp and they're firm. So like the new Maybelline Sky High mascara, which I adore, it's got the little plastic guys on here, but they're not as long and they're not as pointed. Like they're not as sharp as the e.l.f. one. And I love this Sky High mascara from Maybelline. Length, volume, just a really good one. It doesn't flake or smudge on me. This one's almost shot out, but I'm not crazy about the new e.l.f. Lash It Loud Volumizing Mascara. Again, I didn't get a ton of volume or length with it either. Also from e.l.f., I purchased one of their new putty blushes, and I got the shade Bora Bora. I had heard really good things about their putty primer. I don't really use primers on my skin, but because people really love that primer, I thought I would give the blushes a try because I'm into the creams now. I'm like getting into it. The kind that go over set foundation are my favorite. So this guy's infused with argan oil and vitamin E, and there's 0.35 ounces of product, or 10 grams, which is a pretty substantial amount of product that you're getting. It comes in a little plastic tub like this, and this is actually the blush that I have on my cheeks today. This is a really kind of pale, well, not super pale, but it's a baby pink with a slight warm hint to it. And I really like this. It went over set foundation really well. And my favorite way to use these are with this brush right here. This is from Wayne Goss. It's his #1 foundation brush, which is a little bit smaller. It fits nicely in the pot. So I swirl it in there. And then I like to use the very tips of the brush like this and lightly glide it over the skin, and it doesn't move my foundation or anything like that. So I love that about it, and it has a really nice flush of color. So next time I'm in town, I'm probably going to pick up 1 or 2 more shades because they're pretty inexpensive. And I think that the kind of, I don't know, they almost have like a glow on the cheeks is really pretty. So this is the shade Bora Bora right here. And I don't push really hard with this brush. I just use the little stippled edges of that brush to get the product on. So that's the shade Bora Bora. You can kind of see the glow that it gives. They had, I want to say, like 6 or 8 shades. There was a decent shade range, I thought, in the store, but I really like that. And then I was intrigued by the new Physicians Formula Long Lasting Matte Minoy Butter Eyeliner. I got this guy at Target as well. There's 0.2 fluid ounces of product. And I had seen it and was kind of going back and forth, but the tip looked like it was a felt tip applicator, and I'm not crazy about the felt tip. And then I was watching somebody on YouTube and they said it was a brush. So then I got excited and I purchased it. So this you're supposed to kind of shake up really well before you use it. You can hear there's something in the well that kind of mixes up the product. And then it does have a brush tip applicator. If I could change one thing about it, it would be a finer tipped brush applicator. It's kind of thick. And the edge of it is more flat, like blunt cut, instead of like tapering into a fine point. Like the Essence liner has got a really nice fine point to it. This one's a little bit thicker. I can deal with that because I do wear a thicker eyeliner for my eye shape or how I like my eyes to look. It's not that big of a deal, but it would have been nice to have a little bit finer tip. This is a very rich black matte eyeliner. I'll leave it there for a minute till it dries so you guys can see the finish of it. But the thing that was really impressive to me was how well this lasted on my eyes. And I did have some watering in my eyes that day, and it didn't flake or smudge or budge or anything, even when I was like kind of wiping away the water from my eyes on the edge. That's usually where I have the wear from when my eyes water. It stayed really, really well. So I'm impressed with the formula of this guy. Again, the only thing I would change was would be to have a little bit finer tip on the brush. Otherwise, I really like this guy, and I think I'll get a ton of use out of it this summer, because when I'm outside riding, like especially with allergies, like the water will just pour down my face from my eyes. That's how bad my eyes water. Like they'll just be running down my cheeks when I'm like loping horses and stuff. It's kind of ridiculous, but I think I'm going to get a ton of use out of this in the summertime for when my eyes are really prone to watering even more than they already do. So there's the finish right there. Look at how nice inky dark matte eyeliner that is. So I'm enjoying that. That's the Physicians Formula Matte Minoy Butter Eyeliner right there. Also from Physicians Formula, I saw this Rosé All Day Sharpener. And I didn't need this. I didn't need a lot of these things. But it was so cute, so I bought it. And you can kind of never have too many pencil sharpeners anyway, but it's just a dual-sided pencil sharpener with a really pretty little floral detail on both the back and the front. And then, of course, the top pops off in the bottom, and there's a little pick inside of there as well. But it was only $3. So 3-in-1 pencil sharpener that I just thought was pretty. Like, it's just going to look pretty sitting out. So I purchased that guy as well at Target. I also got another one of the LA Girl Glide Gel Liners, which I've hauled a couple of these. Not this particular color though, but the liners that I have gotten so far have lasted really well in the waterline. This is the shade Mermaid Blue. The color is stunning, but this is really, it's a little bit more creamy than some of the other ones and a little bit more sheer. And I found it more difficult to get to adhere to the waterline. And then when I did, because I did end up taking a Q-tip and wiping the waterline off first and then going in with this, it didn't last as well as some of the other ones that I've hauled. But the color is really pretty. If you want to use a bright liner like on the skin or the lower lash line on the skin, I think it would do that justice, because you can see right there how nice it went on the skin. But for the waterline, it was a bit more of a challenge. And then again, it didn't last quite as well as some of the others in the range. The neon ones that I have last super well from LA Girl. And then I broke down and I finally purchased one of the new Rare Beauty Stay Vulnerable Melting Blushes, and I got the shade Nearly Rose. It's 0.17 ounces. I heard people rave about these, and then I also heard some people that didn't like them, so I just thought I would give them a try because I'm into the cream thing. So I got the Nearly Rose shade. It's these guys right here, and people weren't joking when they said the little compact that it comes in is the cutest thing ever, because it really is just the cutest little compact. So 0.17 ounces or 5 grams of product, and then there's a little mirror inside, and then there is your blush. And this one here has got a little bit more slip or a little bit more creaminess to it compared to the e.l.f. Putty Blush, but I like to use this blush the same way as I use that e.l.f. Putty Blush with the Wayne Goss #1 foundation brush, or this smaller stippling brush. It's very soft, this Wayne Goss one, but the tips are synthetic, and then the buff out portion of it are natural bristle brushes. But I just go like this in there, and same thing, very lightly. Here, let's do it. I'm gonna wipe this off real quick. So I just take that brush and, you know, go over the top of the blush like that, and then very lightly I just go like this over the skin, and it doesn't move my set foundation, and it gives a really nice glow to the skin. And so I've been enjoying this one as much as I've been enjoying that e.l.f. Putty Blush, and I use it the same way, like just a really pretty glow there. So that's the Nearly Rose shade, and I think I'm going to go ahead and get the Nearly Apricot and the Nearly, I think it's Nearly Neutral or Nearly Nude, the nude shade, because I do quite like these little blushes right here. And they last on my drier skin type really well. Let me build it up a little bit too. I'm going to grab some more and build it up, because you can really get some intensity out of it, or you can really sheer it out as well. See how intense that got? And again, I just use the bristles of that brush lightly over the set foundation. But it's pretty. And then recently I've been incorporating another brow product in my brow routine. You guys have seen me use the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow through my brows for like over a year. It's the only thing I've been using in my brows. So I would typically use 2 coats, whether it was the dark or the dark with the medium, or just the medium, kind of depending on my mood or like my hair color or how bad my roots are. But I wanted them to look like there was a little less product in them, so I've been doing just 1 coat of the CoverGirl. The one that I have in my brows today is the deep shade. Just 1 coat over, you know, trying to get it on just the hairs and not the skin. And then I've been going in with the Urban Decay Brow Blade, and the one that I had was Taupe Trap, and I've had this for quite a while. It's still inky, like there's still some inkness to it, but I'm not so certain on the color. There's a little bit more of like a yellowy tone to it. So I thought to get another one, and I went to Ulta and I got the shade Cool Cookie, and I don't even remember this shade like being available with the original launch. Is it a new shade, or am I just losing it? So I got Cool Cookie, and this is a beautiful shade that works really well with my kind of my hair color and stuff. So 1 coat of the Easy Breezy Brow in deep, like just over the hairs, and and then I went in with the Brow Blade ink stain side of the pencil, because these are double-ended, and I just lightly fill in kind of the more sparse areas. And I really like the tone of this, what is it called again? Cool Cookie shade. You can really see like the, I guess, warmth to it, really like a warm yellowy kind of undertone in the taupe one compared to the Cool Cookie. So I do really like this shade better than the taupe trap for me. But I just love the way that that looks in my brows. They're a lot less product heavy, and you can really see the hair as well. So this does have a pencil on one end too, so I'll go ahead and swatch that. I never used the pencil in the other one. I don't know if I'll use it in this one, but there's a swatch of it right there. These are just really good products from Urban Decay. And then I placed an order off of the M Cosmetics website for the Daydream Cushion Perfect and Protect Broad Spectrum SPF 50 sunscreen. My thoughts behind purchasing this were, usually a cushion foundation has a really thin texture with a beautiful finish, and this has got SPF 50, so I bought this with the intention to use it as a concealer underneath my eyes, especially coming into spring, summer when I'm outside a ton. I really want the skin around my eyes to be protected. The CoverGirl Endo Lay foundation that I use to prime my lids has got an SPF of 28, so I kind of get my lids covered with the SPF and the CoverGirl foundation. I also wear a hat and sunglasses too, but hey man, you never know. So that was my intention with purchasing this, and I got the shade Cloud Dream Fair Light, which is the lightest shade that they have got available. And so there's one compact in here, which is 12 grams or 0.42 ounces, and then inside of the box there is a little refill package with the same amount of product, 0.42 ounces. So you get two of those. And I've got this underneath my eyes today as a concealer, and it covered really, really well. It was easy to blend out. This being the lightest shade, if you are like pale, I think this might be even a little bit too deep for you, because I didn't think it was like super, super pale of a shade. And then the undertone of this is really yellow. So if I could change something, I would pull a little bit more pink into it, because I have a very strong pink undertone in my skin, and it's just more flattering for me. But I do like the finish underneath the eyes, the amount of coverage that you're getting in the SPF 50. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a ton of use out of this as concealer under the eyes throughout the spring, summer, fall, the time that I'm outside. So inside the compact there is a mirror, and then you get the little puff here that you can, you know, pounce it on with, which I'm not going to do that. So how I used it today was just use my finger, because I like to keep these cushion products. It always, I don't know, it weirds me out a little bit to keep going into a product with sponges or brushes or something like that. So I just took a clean hand and went in there and then patted it under my eyes and then closed it and then blended it out. So I'm just going to show you guys the tone here. It's quite yellow, but the consistency, it feels really like serum-y, like it feels kind of nice and hydrating. So it doesn't look dry underneath my eyes. It doesn't look heavy or anything like that. So I'm pretty impressed with the formulation of it. Again, if I could change one thing, I would just want it to be a little bit more pink in tone for my skin tone. Otherwise, I really like this. I don't know if I will brave using this all over my face, because there's a decent amount of silicones in here. I can get away with the silicones for the most part around my eyes, but when I start venturing out into my face with heavy silicone products, that's when I start to get those under the skin bumps, especially kind of on my cheeks and forehead and stuff. So far so good with underneath the eyes. It looks really pretty. I don't have any bumps or anything like that, but there's cyclopentaloxane is the second ingredient. Caprylyl methicone is the third ingredient. Butyl glycol, more cyclopentaloxane, dimethicone, so trimethicone, a lot of ethicones in the ingredients list. But anyway, that's the Daydream Cushion from M Cosmetics. Again, I love the SPF 50. The consistency is super, super nice, and I'm probably gonna use that throughout the summer for underneath my eyes. And then I placed an order on the Give Me Glow website because they restocked their new shade that they call Electric Unicorn, which if you have seen the swatches on their Instagram of that shade, like it just made my heart go like that. I was like, I need that. And when they first launched it, I missed it. It sold out so fast, so I wasn't able to get one. And so during the restock, I was able to pick one of them up, and then I also got another shade. So let me show it to you guys. I have it in a little magnetic palette here with the rest of my Give Me Glow shades. I'm gonna pull it out of here. You get a ton of product in these. There's 0.12 ounces of product in this guy, or 3 grams. So this is the Electric Unicorn shade. It's a foiled pressed pigment, and it is stunningly shiny, like so beautiful. It reminds me of Clionadh Cosmetics eyeshadows. This was $22, so it wasn't exactly cheap, but again, you get a ton of product. It has that similar feel to Clionadh Cosmetics, which I love. I love those shadows. This is a beautiful shade. It really is stunning, but I think you can kind of even see in the viewfinder there, it's got a very strong golden to green shift to it. And in the swatches, like the ones that you see online and stuff, I've seen a lot of pink and purple, and then it shift to gold and that green. Like I seen those shifts really strong online. And when I wore this on the lid, I just basically got gold and green. I couldn't pull that pink out of it like at all. Like depending on the lighting or anything, it just looked gold and green. So I don't know if there's like less purple in mine. Like even if I try to shift it, you know, in a deeper light, the pink and the purple in the shadow is way, way more subdued than what I was hoping for. It's still a stunning shade, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have the purple pink shift that I was hoping for based off the swatches that I seen online. I'm happy that I got it, but I was wanting that. You guys know how I feel about the purple pink shifts and blues like shifts and things. But anyway, that's the Give Me Glow Electric Unicorn right there. Even trying to shift it in a mirror, you can still see the green and the gold in there as opposed to the pink and purple. And then the other shade that I got is Cream Lace, and this is another new shade from Give Me Glow. It's one of their kind of metallic shades. Foiled pressed pigment is what it says on the back, but it's high metallic. I was placing my order so fast because I didn't want it to sell out before I was able to get the Electric Unicorn. So these are the only 2 shades that I got. Like I thought if I go back and try to add them to my bucket, that in the meantime they'd sell out of Electric Unicorn. So I only got the 2 shades. Otherwise I would have added the other, I think they had 3 other new shades in their range, but it was this whole thing. So that's one of their new shades called Cream Lace right there, which is just a really pretty kind of golden champagne with a hint of brown in it. It's really pretty. And then I placed an order off of the Selfridges website for the new Byredo Prismic 18 color eyeshadow palette. It was a couple dollars cheaper on the Selfridges website, but it is currently available at, I think, Saks I've seen it, and I want to say maybe Neiman Marcus. There's a couple US retailers that I've seen this palette on, but this has got 30 grams of product, and the packaging that it comes in is very similar to how their perfumes come. Byredo makes one of my all-time favorite perfumes, and that's the Gypsy Water fragrance. Ugh, I love that thing. I could just like douse myself in it. It also says on the box that it is made in Italy. So it is a little bit larger than I thought it was going to be. It's kind of a nice sized palette with a decent amount of thickness to it, but I love the imagery that's on the packaging. I love the packaging in itself. I think it's super pretty. It's got a raised kind of rubber piece where that really artistic design is at, and I just think it's so pretty to look at. And then inside you have got 18 eyeshadows. I will say when I got mine and I opened it, it was probably that day with the wind chill, it was probably -30, so that might have had something to do with it. But I had 3 of the shades kind of lifting out of the pan because these aren't individually in their own pan, they're kind of set inside the palette. So I had some shades that were lifting out, and again, like I said, it was really cold, so I had to push them back in. And I just noticed when I opened it just now that this purple shade was starting to lift out of the pan as well. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if 30 below would have affected that or made them kind of come out of the pan. So there are 6 true matte eyeshadows in here, and then there are 2 of the shades, which is this kind of peachy shade and this purple, that have got an infusion of sparkles in a matte base. I think ColourPop likes to call them sequin shades. And then everything else is pretty shimmery, and then some of the shades have got some little bits of micro glitter in there. But when you first look at this palette, I wouldn't doubt if you thought it looks like a mess because of the way that it's arranged. It's just very sporadic. And I know a lot of people don't like it when colors are arranged like this, but for me, I pull inspiration from that and like the little art piece on the front. So I don't mind when palettes are like that because the looks that I get from palettes like this always turn out very unique and surprisingly fun. And this feels like a really artistic palette to me. This is what I have on my eyes today also. I almost forgot to mention that. I did pull in the Aether Beauty Pure Diamond Dust highlighter for the inner portion of the eye and the outer portion of the brow bone, because this palette does not have anything that's light enough to highlight for me. If I could change one thing about it, I would have put in, it wouldn't even matter if it was a shimmer or a matte, but just a light enough shade that I could use to highlight with. I wouldn't even care about undertone because I would use it either way. But everything in here is just a little bit too deep for me to highlight with. So it's not a standalone because of that. Otherwise, I surprisingly really like this palette. The first time I used it, I was like, that shade is bland. I went right for this lilac purple shade. But when the look was all said and done, it looked very, very pretty. Like just a little bit different. There's something a little bit different about some of these shades that just provides a unique look. There's quite a few reds, greens, purples, yellows. There's a lot you can do with like this palette, and I really wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. It's a very artsy, fun eyeshadow palette. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some swatches. Hopefully you'll be able to see if it's something you'll like. The shades do have pretty nice pigmentation. That lilac's a little lackluster in pigmentation, but it looks pretty over a kind of tacky base. I had minimal fallout with it. They blended really well. You get a ton of product. And I want to say they're 5 shadow palettes, which I really want to get the neutral one. I hear Michelle Wong talk about that one a lot, so I want to purchase that at some point. But those are like 70 some bucks, I think. And this one on Selfridges was 91. And you get a ton more shades and a ton more product. And then these guys. I am nervous about these shades, like the whole pan falling, not pan, but the whole chunk of product falling out of it, because I had a few shades lifted, but so far so good. Don't like fall out on my head. And then these guys, this shade right here is a very unique eyeshadow. It's like a grungy blue with a bit of green in it. It's really pretty. I can't recall too many shades in my entire collection that look like that. This one right here, I've got it on the lid today. It's just a really interesting shade. And then these next ones. I had to set down the palette there. Some of the, even the textures, some of them feel a little dry, some of them feel a little flaky, but they look pretty on. And then these last 2 shades right here. So you can see, like, when you first look at it, it looks like this really bright, colorful palette, but even as I swatch it out, you can see it's not quite as bright, which, I don't know, there's something fun about it. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. Those are the swatches right there of the Byredo Prismic eyeshadow palette. And then lastly, I placed an order on the ColourPop website. They were doing 25% off of their website, so I got some things that I was looking at for a while. They restocked the Raw Beauty Christy collection, and this is the liner that I was after when it originally launched, and it sold out too quick for me to get it. But this is the shade Spare Thyme, Thyme, which is like an herb, I believe. Again, her packaging is super cute. But this is one of their gel liners. It's got the little mushrooms on the lid as well. And it's just a really pretty khaki green color. These last pretty well, but they don't last as well as like the Givenchy Kohl Couture. And then I'm not sure exactly what I was thinking, but I purchased this cream gel color liner in the shade Venus. It's their BFF cream gel color. This is the little box right here. And this is a very vibrant red. I haven't tried any of the gel potted liners from ColourPop before, so I don't know why I went with this exact shade. But I should have purchased another shade so I could try it on the waterline, like a little bit more wearable. I haven't used this yet, but it's a pretty, you know, vibrant red shade. And I wanted to kind of see how they last on the waterline. And I got such a red shade. So that's the shade Venus right there. I will try it at some point. I also really like the ColourPop Lippy pencils. So I got these two from their new Poppy collection. I got So Happy and Field Day, which are both pretty warm nude shades. I really like these lip liners from ColourPop. So this one is Field Day, which is deeper and a warm brown. And then the other shade is called So Happy, which is a bit lighter. Just really good, warm, kind of nude lip liners right there from ColourPop. And then I also got one of their 9 pans from the Lunar New Year collection. This is the Lunar Has It, and the packaging on this was just so cute. And then the color story that I got, it just kind of really looked like a one and done color story for me, and I really like these type of tones. The vibe that I got from this was like Tom Ford Body Heat. That's the vibe I got from these shadows. But these are actually their full-size panned shadows that you can pull right out in a magnetized palette, which I also like because you can use the little Lunar New Year palette and use all your single ColourPop shadows and kind of make your own type of deal. But there's 4 matte shades, which are these two, and then 2 sequin shades, which are basically mattes with little sparkles, and then these 3 right here are kind of metallics. And then based off of what I could see, I think these are new shades for this palette. I definitely could be wrong there, but I was looking at the names and they didn't sound familiar. Whoa. And I really enjoy ColourPop shadows too. And this guy. And then this last shade with the sequins. So a really pretty palette there. There's kind of some cool tones, but also warm tones in there. And I really like the packaging. It's very cute. And then lastly, I purchased the set that had all 5 of their newest kind of 5-pan shadows. They recently did a Valentine's collection too, which those blushes, I wanted those blushes so bad and I wasn't able to get them. Lately, ColourPop has been like selling out of their collections. I'm like, these are their 5 pans right here. I love that they color coordinated the packaging as well. I think that's super fabulous. Should I see if these are magnetic? That I don't know yet. I bet they are. They are. They're magnetic in the palette, which is awesome. A couple of the shades in my palettes came like lifted out of the pan, so I had to kind of repress them. Must have had a rough USPS ride to my house or something. But I was able to save them, so... This one here, should I tell you what this one is called? This one is Crush Pressed Powder Palette right here. This one does not have any pressed micro glitters in there, which I appreciate. This is a warm one. And then the matte brown. This is a pretty decent one and done palette for me. So that's the Crush Pressed Powder Palette right there. This next one is the Cool Tone one. This one also does not have any pressed glitters in there. This is the one called Ballad. I really like this color scheme too. So that one is Ballad right there. And then we've got Cherish. This one also has no pressed glitters in there. This is the shade I had to kind of repress to save. I think that they're having, or they just had another 25% off sale. So that one, oh, I got one more swatch. And then the last shade here. So that one is the Cherish one. And then these next two both have pressed glitters in the center, which I wish I could go like bippity boppity boo and change it to a metallic. But this one also had a little shattered shade in the front that I repressed. This is the one called Lyric. I will say that the glitters in here are pretty saturated though. See, that's a pretty opaque and saturated glitter there. And then this last shade, which is a matte. Very kind of neutral, maybe slightly yellow undertone. So that one is Lyric right there. And then the last one in the little bundle I got is Amore, and this is like a plummy one, and this center shade right there is that glitter. Otherwise, there's a glitter, a metallic, a sequin, and two mattes in there. Nice, look at the saturation, really nice. And then the last shade here. So that one is the plum one in Amore right there. And those are from ColourPop. And that is everything that I have for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I will see you guys later. Bye.